Hey lifers, and welcome to another episode of Because Life Can Be a Niche podcast. Thank you so much for riding with us again and coming into the living room, doing life. So appreciate you. If you are listening, wherever you get your podcast, if you're listening right now, thank you for listening. And why don't you do us a favor, pop on over to the YouTube channel, Life Can Be a Niche, and watch and subscribe and share and like and tell all your friends about us, because we need that. And you know, if you're watching and you're on the YouTube channel, we appreciate you. We thank you. If you haven't told anybody about it, share it, like it, get in the comments, tell us what you want to talk about. We'd love to hear it and talk about it and get into it, because that's what we do. We talk about everything involving life. Anyway, moving on. You can reach me on social media, Katie Bryant Writes. That's Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. But to be honest, don't do much on Twitter, but I'm definitely on Instagram and on Facebook. So more often, I should say. So, come on in there and let's have conversations and really get the conversation going, because this one today, what I'm really talking about today, I think some people are going to have strong opinions or perhaps really good advice that I need and want to hear, or that somebody else may need. So with all of that, you know how we always do it. In here sipping on our tea. You guys, it's not a teacup, but it's my cup. It's my Because Life Can Be a Niche cup. You can get one of these. Just let us know, get in the comments, and we can get you a Because Life Can Be a Niche cup. But I drink my tea out of it, and I am excited to share it. I have 2 teas coming up for the next 2 episodes that I'm really excited about. 1, because it's a Black-owned business. 2, it's a woman-owned business. So it's some mompreneurs out there doing their thing, making tea. So it's Ivy Tea Company. And the only reason I don't have it in my cup right now is because I'm recording and it's daytime and the tea has chamomile in it. So can't do that during the day, because it is relaxing and it tastes so good and it's so delicious. So you are just going to, I love it, but it's from Ivy Tea Company, and I'm excited. I've been drinking it. I'm going to drink some tonight, but I can't drink it now because I might go to sleep. So we can't have that. But anyway, getting into the topic today, I have gotten, we dropped an episode if you missed the last episode, we were talking to Natasha Visser about kids and about when you have to talk with them and when is it appropriate, to talk about sex and all those things. And then before that, we talked about finances and money and, just ways that you can have passive income and invest in yourself. But guys, I got questions, had nothing to do with either one of those things. So anyway, the questions came in from an episode that I dropped a few episodes back about what I did in the wait when I was after my divorce. I've shared, I'm a mom of boys. For those of you who are just coming in or just meeting me, I'm a mom of 2 boys. I've been divorced since 2015. I am single right now. I'm in the dating arena, these dating streets, which is, oh my Lord, a whole nother episode, to be honest. But I was talking about what I did, in the wait, like how did I occupy my time? How did I grow out of it? What did I get out of it? What did I do? And I shared a lot of things. One, reading, a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, a lot of working on just being a better me, understanding what I wanted. And I don't even know how this came up, but the question came like, well, what did you learn that you're not going to do again so you don't mess up your next, marriage or relationship? And it's a great question, first of all, and I am able to answer that. I have given a lot of thought. It's so much. I could probably write a book about it, but I have an answer. I have 3 things the top 3 things that I would do differently that I learned out of my divorce that I'm going to carry into my next marriage. I'm just going to say marriage, because I don't want to be in the dating streets forever. So I'll say marriage, or I'll say relationship. How about that? And that I'm working on, but I don't waste my time. So if I'm dating somebody, I'm just not in a relationship to be in one. It has to have an end game to it or a plan. So that's why I said marriage, because I'm just not going to waste my time just sitting around dating for nothing. Anyway, so that's a whole nother thing. The first thing, I think, because I got married at 33, so I was already older. I feel like I was more mature at that age. My husband at the time was 36. And so, we were seasoned. It's not like it was a young marriage and a young couple not really knowing, what they were doing or who they were. I think we were very secure in who we were. But I would definitely speak my mind and say exactly what I needed, what I wanted, and what I expected, and express how me not getting those things was making me behave and feel. And and you can take that a lot of different ways. I know people say, well, you should always, be your authentic self or be your true self. But I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say be authentic or be true, because sometimes your authentic self is one that doesn't necessarily like conflict and avoids conflict. And I know that I was married to someone who completely avoided conflict, like when he should have been in conflict. It was just sometimes when I'm like, you gonna let them say that, or why you say something to them? And I don't like conflict. So for me to say you gonna let that happen, you have to know it was serious, because I'm also one who avoids conflict. But that is dangerous, because that's our authentic selves would just avoid the conflict and avoid discussing and not argue or anything like that. And that does a disservice to the other person, because I feel like when I was avoiding conflict or just, because I dated him for 7 years before we got married, you kind of feel like you know each other. And there is a difference between knowing someone when you are dating them and they get you and you're quirky, and knowing someone that married you, that you really almost start not new, but you start on another level of intimacy that you probably don't know, that you assume that person, we've been together forever, they know better. And so I did that a lot. Like, okay, I know he knows better. Or I just shut down, like I'm not gonna say anything about it. And that's just completely, I don't do that anymore. Because I noticed that it wasn't only in my relationship and my marriage, but even probably in some of my personal relationships, sometimes you just get along to get along, or you just say, they ought to know better, because just because you know better, or your perspective you think is better, doesn't mean the other person knows. And if you don't, with men, I have learned men are very much like, just say it. It's right. It's black and white. Unless you're with an empath or somebody who really feels and can sense what you're feeling, and they know. I mean, even those who aren't, they know when they messed up. But if you're with somebody who is avoiding conflict, like you're avoiding conflict, nobody's gonna say anything, because we're not gonna talk about it. It's just gonna sit there and just grow, and that's just the wrong thing to do, because you never really give the other person an opportunity to fix it or to continue to ignore it. Then you know what you need to do next. If they say, oh, okay, well, they know and they still don't do anything about it, or there's no change behavior, that's another thing. But if you don't say anything and just speak your truth about what it is you need in a way that is not attacking, not, I don't like blah, blah, I don't like to go to bed with the dishes in the sink. Whatever the issue is, whether it's something minor or petty, or whether it's something big, speak on it. That's what I got from the divorce. Is a lot of times I just didn't speak on it. I was just assuming that, okay, I don't like this, or if I've told you one time I don't like something, or something I don't like the way you did that, then I'm not going to tell you again. That's, again, not fair. Because to think that somebody will remember, or that they actually internalized it enough to do something about it, especially if it's something minor. But over time, minor things will add up and add up and add up, and you will find yourself ticked off because they ought to know better. We've been together 7 years. I don't like that. Come on, get it together. But if you never say, I don't like it when this happens because it makes me feel blank, then all bets are off the table. And I think that is very important. That's one thing, not only that I learned to speak up, but to speak clearly, and then give a full reason, like, yeah, I don't like it when you turn the toilet paper that way. But that's ridiculous. Like, there's no, like, it doesn't make me feel any kind of way. I just don't like it. But when it's something that is affecting you emotionally, affecting you spiritually, or affecting your peace, then you owe it to your significant other, your spouse, your even in your friend relationships, to say when something does not sit well with you, and then to explain how you feel as a result. And I think that's probably where that was a nugget for me. That's where I was like, oh, I am uncomfortable when you say things like this, because it puts me in a space of blah, blah, blah. That's one. Just speaking up and speaking on it. Just speak on it. Just tell it. Just say what it is that's bothering you, and give people some grace if they don't automatically know. And if they do know, because a lot of times he did know that something was bothering me, but he wasn't going to say anything. If I didn't say anything, say something so you can address it and get it out there. It might not even end in the result you want, but at least you have been fair in your argument in expressing that. So that's one. Two, and this is one where, and this could really kind of be combined with one, I guess, but journaling is something that it's important to me, because I'm able to assess how I feel when I journal. So I don't know if I should say journal, or if I should say assess how you really feel about something, so that you can get to the root of it. So yeah, I will say this. Journaling for me is how I get the honesty out of me. But number two, I guess, would be assess how you truly feel. Assess where you are, emotional space, what is going on with you at that time. Assess it and think about it. So, instead of just flying off as soon as something happens, and you just, like, ooh, I'm coming over there. Before you do that, take a moment. At least for me, that's what I'm saying to the future relationship me. Take a moment, sit down, girl, in this chair, go to your space, go to your nook, and sit down and think about what it is you're really feeling, and determine the root cause, or try to get to the root before you attack the other person, or before you approach the other person about, what it is, why this ain't working, why this is just a mess. Because I think that is very valuable in any relationship, but especially in your love relationship, because I have found in journaling that I am more honest. And I discovered that just through my prayer and meditation, that when I sit down, And I know God knows. And it's not like I'm fooling him. Like he actually saw me do that thing I did that I'm not really telling him about as I confess. But when I write, it frees me up to be more honest about me. And it gets to the root of what I'm really thinking. And it may not, for some people, it may be going on a run and really assessing how you feel. And it may be going for a walk, or it may be just doing something that requires you to be alone with yourself for just a moment to really sit down and get to the issue. Because it might not be that he didn't feed the kids while you were gone. Now you got to come home and feed them. And they're hungry as soon as you get in the door. They're, Mommy, we're hungry. We haven't eaten. And it's a whole human in there. That's your daddy. Why didn't you ask daddy to feed you? But that'll tick you off. But sit down and really think about what it is that really bothers you about that. Yeah, it bothers me that my kids are hungry when I get home, when I've left a grown person with them and food in the house, and there's light and there's heat in the stove. But the bigger thing is, maybe the partnership, making sure that the kids are good, so that when mommy comes home from work or wherever, that she's not hit or slammed with things that your partner could have, taken care of, or you expect partnership work there. So that's where it is important to just go sit down and address it. It's not about you didn't feed them, although that's okay. I can go off right there, but it's, thinking beyond just feeding them. Let me make sure the kids are taken care of, because my partner has been working 2 jobs and is coming in the house, and I don't want them to get hit with things that I probably could have taken care of, or probably could have done to avoid that. And so that's really the issue. It was, on the back end. Did you think about that on the back end? Why you didn't feed them? Maybe you did, maybe you did. So that's that. So I sit down, and I do this now. I mean, I will sit down and write out, not only do I do it with my prayer time, but I'll sit down and write out, a situation that bothered me. And then I just keep writing. This is bothering me. This is why I don't like this, because this is blah, 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 and I don't like this. And eventually in the writing, I get to the root. This is the thing that happened, but this is the root cause of why this bothered me so much. The real reason is this. And sometimes you'll find that you might be wrong. Like, I didn't say anything when this happened before, so this person doesn't know that this is a trigger, or that this bothers me. I was wrong for that. I was wrong for not saying that. So I now got an attitude, but I never expressed honestly how I felt. So I think that solves a lot. And it could be, and not only that, it keeps you from flying off all the time. Like, and as you get older, I'm 47, I'll be 48 in like a couple of months. So, when you get older, your tolerance level for fraggle-knackle shenanigans is like, really, like I said, the length of gnat hair. Like, you really do not want to waste your time and your energy or your money doing things that are not going to be productive to your psyche, to your space, to whatever, your environment. So sitting down and taking a moment to assess those things helps you to come out of the gate knowing what the real issues are and attacking those issues. The third thing that, oh my goodness, I wish I had done this, not even just in my relationship, I wish I had done this in my singleness too. Starting my day off alone. I mean, you with somebody. I'm not saying like move away, but I mean the time spent, uh, quiet time alone. I learned. I prayed during our marriage, but I would pray at night after our work day, after everybody was, taken care of, children were, had baths, everybody was in the bed and asleep. And then when the house is quiet, then I finally sit down and I go and I read, do my prayer time, which really was a disservice to me because by the time I sat down, I was tired and I'd be like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Almost like nodding off. But that time was so important to me that I did it, but I did it at night. And I do the reverse of that now. And I'm taking that into the next relationship too. Get up early enough so that you have time for your prayer, for your meditation, for your journaling, for your yoga, for your, water, whatever it is you need before you just start. And I think that causes a lot of stress. And that's what I was doing the entire time. Because when I got married, I was pregnant in 3 months. So it was kind of like married baby. So it was really no whole just getting up and just chilling or what y'all doing this weekend. I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. What you doing? I'm being pregnant. So, so the whole year of newlywed stuff, just that was out the window. And so as a young married mom or newly married, then I became a mama and I would start my day off running. And I did that with baby number 1, baby number 2. It was still just, I wake up, and then I'm in the kitchen and I'm getting, food together, getting bottles together, getting stuff together. And then I'm going in, I'm making sure, clothes are together. My husband might have been given a bath or something like that, or giving them baths, but I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm making sure the little backpacks are packed with all their stuff and all the things. And then I'm trying to get ready for work and I'm rushing. And I get them done. And if I'm dropping them off, then I'm running to get them dropped off on time and then rushing to go drive to work. It was exhausting. Just even thinking about it now, looking back, I was killing myself and not giving myself the time I needed to just start my day off calmly, thoughtfully, definitely praying first thing in the morning instead of in the evening. I mean, I do both now, but that morning time sets the tone for the whole day because I have time and quiet. And it does mean, yes, I sacrifice. I get up an hour in advance or an hour ahead of everybody else. And it's 5 a.m.-ish. It's really early. But I wish I had done that when I was actually married, because it would have saved me a lot of that stress and angst and just like, I just felt bombarded. Like I was just running. I never really felt like I relaxed because I would pick the kids up from daycare and bring them home. And then, I'm giving them snacks and I'm turning on the TV or whatever. And then I'm preparing dinner and I'm doing this. I'm like, and at that time, not even in a gym. So not even a member of a gym. So what I used to find joy in was walking every evening. And I stopped doing that because I was like, well, I got to get these kids ready. I got to do this. I got to do this for tomorrow. I got to do blah, blah, blah. And so the one thing that really gave me joy was just walking and getting them in strollers and pushing them around. I did it occasionally, but it was more of a hassle than it was worth. And so that alone just, it changes your mood. Because if your partner, your spouse is still going to the gym, is still, playing basketball with the guys, is still, doing things that give him joy or give him peace or, something that he just likes to do, you become resentful because you're like, look at this joke. He just living. And in marriages, I will say, especially with children, there's always going to be one parent who takes the lion's share of the work, especially when they're little. And usually it's the mom, not always, but usually it's the mom because the kids gravitate to mom. I mean, that's where the milk resides. So, of course, they're coming to wherever I am. They can smell me all over the house. Here they come. So, by default, a little bit, they're going to gravitate to you. And then also, your partner will, has to be keyed in on, maybe she's tired. Maybe I need to do something so that she just doesn't get up. Because I literally, we hop up. I don't know, it was like somebody fire a cannon or something. I just hop up and just, and then I was on the go all day long. And then I'm at work and I'm cranking it out at work because I'm working. It's not like I was a stay-at-home mom. And then I'm, batting it, coming down the highway, getting home, getting the kids, cranking out dinner, cranking out things. And it's just like a constant grind. And then you do it all over again the next day. Friday is my favorite day of the week, always has been. And I'm not saying that because I was living for Friday, but man, I used to dread Sundays. I would actually dread Sunday. I mean, other than church, of course, I enjoyed fellowshipping, but as soon as church was over, I was like, it was like a dark cloud, like, I got to do it all over again. I'm tired. And that also goes back to number one, verbalizing how you're feeling, and sharing with your partner, like, look, I cannot get up at the crack of dawn and just start running every day. But that was on me too, because now I get up at the crack of dawn, but it's for the benefit of me and my family. we all get along so much better when mommy has her prayer time. And if I miss it, because sometimes I oversleep or I've got a lot going on or something, and I'll try to build it into a lunch hour, which I don't really, when you work from home, at least for me, I don't really take lunch. I'm just working constantly. But if I miss my prayer time in the morning, I will set aside, I'm going to block that time off and get that time in, because it's alone. I'm alone. It's quiet. And I've done something to feed my soul with that and nurture myself before I move about, the cabin freely. But those are the three things. Definitely speak up, tell exactly what you feel, what you need, and why, what happens to you when those things don't happen, so that you can at least have a dialogue. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, there's a dialogue happening. 2, sit down and assess the root cause of the things that are bothering you, because they'll pile on and then something so tiny will happen and you will blow up, and it's not even about that tiny thing. So definitely assess that. And then 3, start your day with you. Your time. Start your day in a quiet place, in a setting where you can feed your soul, feed your spirit, get things right, get on the right page with God, set the intention for the day. Where do you want me to be? What's going on? Just let me start my day off there, and start the day off quiet. Everything's just going off today. I mean, I thought I silenced everything and stuff is just pinging anyway. But anyway, start your day off with you, quietly sitting down, getting that time, getting your yoga on, getting your workout on. I feel so much better, y'all, when I sit in that chair and I have my prayer time, I have my meditation time, I have my workout time, I drink my water, and then I start my day. Start off and then get the kids up. It's so much better though. That's it, y'all. Those are my 3. Those are the things that I learned. That's a great question. Thank you for asking. That's what I took out of my divorce that I am going to take into my next marriage is that sets the tone. And even in my dating dating life as well. I shouldn't just say next marriage, like I'm about to just hop off and get married. But in dating, those things are key. In your friendships, they're important. There's just as important as in your friendships to tell people how you really feel and what's happening, so that, you know, your relationship stays solid. It's important, but you got to be honest with yourself first. And that's what this girl has learned to do. So, y'all, thank you guys for coming in the living room, for riding with me. I hope this was helpful for someone, at least for the person who asked the question. But, you know, I don't want to just be those are my top 3. You know, what are yours? What did you learn from a past relationship, or things you did in your past relationship that have made you better going into your next? And whatever that looks like. I mean, share it, get in the comments, tell us, you know, and let us know what you want to talk about, because this is life. This is how, you know, we grow from each other. This is our little community of lifers. So get into it. Let me know what you think. Thank you for riding with us again today. Thank you for coming into the living room. You know, as I always say, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and I will see you in the living room, baby, with the tea, when I see you.